If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.
Hi, everyone. It's Melanie Johnson. All right, we are going to go deep dive into book covers today. So many of you have questions. What makes a great cover? How do I find a great graphic artist? I don't even know where to start. And some people think your cover is just like this JPEG. There's so much more to a book cover than that. We have Regina with us today, Regina Wamba. She is an award-winning photographer, book cover designer. Her covers have been on New York Times best-selling books. Her photography has been on magazines, national magazines. So we're really honored to have you here today, Regina, with all your input to help us for the new technology for book covers and what we should be doing. Thanks for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate your time and the invite.
Sure. So tell us a little bit how you got started in the book cover industry, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, it started probably in the downturn of the economy in 2008, 2009 era. I was working in graphic design and I got the pink slip along with a lot of other friends, but I did have that handy little degree. And so in my free time, I was reading a lot and then stumbled into forums and talking to authors and other designers and other readers. And I just started to create based on what I was reading. And that just kind of led one thing to another. And here we are. I don't even know how many years later this is, about 12, something like that. And it's been an amazing, incredible journey being able to put artwork to people's dreams and ideas. It's been a ride. It's been a ride.
So tell me, what do you think makes a great cover? You know, it used to be back in the day before Amazon and all that, that you were holding your physical book in your hand and you were seeing it at the bookstore. That's where the majority of people saw them. But now people are really buying the majority of the books online, and you get this tiny little dot that's smaller, you know, than a dime that you're looking at. So how do you make that stand out? Do you have any like rules or guidelines of things that you should do?
Yeah, there are absolutely guidelines. So you're looking at about a 1 to 2 inch rectangle. And so the most important part is really legibility. You need to be able to have a good balance of legibility and genre, right? People being able to automatically associate your cover with the genre that they're, browsing in, and then also be able to see like, okay, what does this actually say? So, if you're a DIYer, making sure that you can read it from about this big. That's probably my number one rule and guide is, can you read it?
I think it's such a pet peeve of mine. Like when I go to look for a book and I can't read the subtitle at all, or barely read the title at all, that there's no contrast between the words and the background, that it gets bled in. So that's one of our rules, is having that contrast and readability and making it really clear. And let's talk about the DIYers versus the graphic designers. I think that so many people, we've had people come to our company like, oh, I've got the book cover done. I don't need you to do the book cover. And all they have is just this front image. They don't have the spine, the back. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I actually teach Photoshop for authors or people that want to, take this on for themselves. So I teach people like DIYers how to do it right in my Teachable course. This is a common thing. You can't just come in with a JPEG or, come in unprepared. There's a lot of research that goes in behind book covers and the genre and everything that you're writing in, if you're a nonfiction writer, understanding, okay, that specific genre, what does it look like? What are your peers look like? Following trends, understanding how those things evolve. So there's a lot that goes into it. So your DIY, sometimes it's better to just trust your graphic design friends that have that background so that you can be successful when you do actually hit the publish button.
So do you recommend going, if you can afford it, which you can get simple solutions, people that aren't that expensive, and then there's ones that are more expensive, of going the graphic design route and what you should look for? I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, I'll get it done on Fiverr, but there's a lot of trash on Fiverr too. So you've got to be careful. What should you look for when you're hiring someone to do your book cover?
Well, look for if they have a portfolio that's successful. Can you do this, the 1-inch test? Can you zoom out so far that you can still kind of mostly read or understand what that title is saying? And do they have experience in your specific niche or genre? So those, I mean, you can go to Fiverr and you can find some great designers, but you can also find some not so great designers, because they are actually pulling images from other designers and just putting them in their portfolio. So you don't really know if you're getting that quality. Reviews are great if they have great reviews, but sometimes even them, you don't know.
So you're kind of hoping and praying when you're really looking on Fiverr versus if you have a recommendation or you know someone that's really doing a great job. You mentioned trends earlier on. What are some of the latest trends going on that we should look for or coming up, in the near future in book? Let's now, and then what do you think is coming up?
Oh gosh, that all is very specific to the genres that you're in. So each one changes based on what you're writing. If it's, nonfiction, sometimes we're going, like the trend right now is font heavy. So they're having font heavy covers. So it's mostly just colors or fonts. And then sometimes you'll have just like the author and like the title over the top of the author, photos of the author. So it goes in waves. Sometimes like in fantasy, you'll have covers of magic, like a magical element, or sometimes you'll have a person on the cover with magical elements. So it's all dependent on what you're writing. But that's what the designer's job is, to actually move through those trends and research.
Yeah. And I think it's just like clothing design, right? There's different trends in fashion, and it's the same with book covers. There's trends. You should go and look at the newest books that are out and what's trending that's coming up with there. What do you think about authors, like for nonfiction, authors' face on the cover versus not on the cover? Do you have any opinions on that?
I think it depends on who you are and how established you are. Sometimes it works if you already have the social influence, like Michelle Obama's book, or movie stars, stuff like that. Your face already is going to do most of the marketing. If you are working towards that, perhaps, and you don't have that social clout yet, perhaps going the other direction so that you can allow people not to judge a book by its cover. Kind of, in a way, they're going to be looking more at the substance versus the clout, the social influence.
Walk us through and I love that because, and then there's even the philosophy about, well, what if you're trying to be someone? Like we've had some authors like, well, they don't know me yet, but I want them to know me to be out there.
Let that evolve naturally. Because sometimes it's great, right? Like I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that if you put your face on the cover and you're not quite to the level you want to be at, but you're working towards that social influence status, let people see your content first versus the publicity part of it, where it's your face all the time, because they're going to value more of what you have to say versus who you are physically. Versus someone who already has the clout, they're going to notice their physical assets first and then be like, oh, I really love them. I bet I'm going to like what they have to say. I think it's better if you're working towards that clout to work up towards the image on the cover or your image being blasted everywhere.
I think that's good advice. What about, we see coming across our desk is pre-made templates for covers. So it's like, hey, we have all these pre-made done covers. You just put your words on there, your picture on there. What is your opinion on that?
I mean, I think they're fine so long as they fit right and that they're not being used multiple times over and over again. If it's a one-off kind of exclusive deal, it's fine. If it's used over and over again, then I would say, okay, let's maybe try to customize this or find a more exclusive version that might be easy. The only problem with pre-mades is that they are pre-made. Sometimes they fit perfectly and then sometimes they just don't. And it's kind of an easy route, but not necessarily the right one.
You know, I remember when, you know, KDP first came out, Kindle Direct Publishing and all of that, and they had those templates right through Amazon that you could use. And then you were seeing all these book covers with basically the same cover with different words on Amazon. You're like, ooh, that's not good. It's kind of like seeing everyone, like you go to a party and half the people have your outfit on or something.
Oh yeah. Like everyone rolls up in your Ford Explorer. Like everyone's got a Ford Explorer.
Yeah.
Everyone's wearing the same costume at the costume party. Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily fit. So like everyone's got their own personalities. Everyone's got their own content and copy to say. Those book covers should also reflect what you have to say. This is your number one marketing tool. It is the first thing that your readers are going to see. So make it yours, make it matter, because that is really going to come across when people are buying. They want quality content. So sell yourself in this one image.
Well, and that's the thing. If you have a quality cover, then they expect quality content behind it. If you have kind of a cheesy cover or something that doesn't look super professional, they're not expecting it to be quality content, and they're going to pass your book by and scroll past it. Don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, when you go to like Barnes and Noble, for example, like physical bookstore, you see everything in there has been vetted.
Yeah.
They make sure that those covers are going to give them the best result. And when you go in there, you are actively, maybe not consciously, but you are actively judging these covers based on the content you see. So putting your best foot forward there, you know, cheap isn't always best.
Yeah. And how long, like if you work with a designer, about how long should the whole process take?
Ooh, that depends on the designer and the author. It really depends. I've had some, you know, some projects take months just because of dependability or ideas, or maybe they weren't quite ready for the publishing process. And so like the vision has changed a little bit. If you are prepared and your manuscript is complete and you're like basically in the editing process, you really shouldn't be spending more than a month on the whole design process. You should be able to actively get your comps and make a decision, make your revisions, and be good within about a month's time.
You know what I have found too is sometimes you got to say perfect is perfect enough, where it can be both sides, but more or less it's a lot of times the author, they get trapped in, well, just tweak it this, we'll just do that. Well, let's just start all over again. You know, that they just kind of, it's almost an excuse not to get the book out, that they keep making changes either to the manuscript or the cover. Have you experienced that where they're just getting, you know?
Oh, very much so. Sorry, frog in my throat there. I'm seeing a lot of times people get very in their head about minute details or wanting to tell the whole story on the cover, when it really should only evoke that first concept, right? Either the mood or the emotion or the downright, like, this is how you work in your business, or this is how to make six figures, or this is a magical fantasy, you know, idea. So instead of trying to tell the whole story in one image, let your designer evoke a story for you that pulls the reader in and gets that buy now, the one click, you know, everyone's after that one click. So try not to be too concerned or concentrated on those small details, or maybe like there's a texture over here or a little fleck over here. Look at the overall, make sure that you can read it and that it fits in next to your peers.
And we always suggest too, like, put it out to your community, you know, show, like, you have a couple you're trying to decide on, it should be this way, or even a third choice this way, then put it out on your Facebook group, your Twitter, your Instagram, and say, hey, I need an opinion because I'm like trapped in my head, which one of these is the best? And we've always had like even different covers, and the author will say, and us together, we're like, oh, well, this is our favorite, but let's see what everyone else says. And everyone else picks a completely different cover than we thought we wanted. And then like, well, do you go with the one that you wanted originally, or do you go with what the group says that they like better?
Right. I support this as well. I feel like, there's always some people who really want to keep the exclusivity and the surprise of the cover reveal, but it doesn't always necessarily work that way. Sometimes the masses are the ones that are deciding, oh my gosh, I would totally click on this one. And you're over here thinking, I could click on this one. Yeah. This one would be my favorite, but then everybody else loves the opposite. So, and if everyone else loves the opposite, obviously the masses are probably going to click on that one. So your bias sometimes doesn't necessarily float the whole concept. You can definitely see there's more power in numbers over here. So I agree. Get one or two or more comps, do a vote, see where most people are leaning, and go with the masses.
Yeah, I agree. And then let's talk about the back cover, because we all focus on the front cover, but a lot of people don't even know what's supposed to go on the back cover. What do you recommend going on the back cover?
That also depends, but most of the time it just goes the synopsis. So your hook and this is probably one of the hardest things for authors to do, is to condense everything into a blurb or a synopsis of the story. This is your hook zone. This is your real estate to continue the sale from the front to the back. And so put that synopsis on there, get reviews, get people in there, read your advanced reader copy so they can actually leave a review for you to help you sell that book. And so this is a great place for a small bio and maybe your pictures, and then that real estate for the hook and the synopsis.
And that's really important. Like when you have those, those hooks, like, hey, so-and-so said this book is great. Have a couple of those already on there to help sell the book. And like you say, if you don't have your picture on the front, then that is the place that you have a little small picture of the author that they can relate and say, oh, now I see the face to the
right.
Yeah. Right. And then, we're all about the future of publishing. What do you say is new technology and tools that you're seeing in, Adobe or the Creator, or different things that you think are going to be coming in the forefront for covers? Any new graphics, 3D, anything cool that you'd be like, oh yeah, I can't wait to use this, that, or the other?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised here soon if we start to see like animated covers.
Wow.
I could see animated covers being a part of the digital world. And I can also see books becoming more immersive. So reading, but along with maybe small graphics or even scenery that's set up inside of the book, like kind of a mixture of virtual reality, animation, and that VR stuff.
And what do you think about, so this is also transcending of NFTs, so non-fungible tokens, that your book cover can become an NFT and then sell your book as an NFT. And I love the animated might even be that. Do you see that as
100%. I actually have a friend that sells artwork that are NFTs, but they intertwine with her books. So you're seeing character designs, you're seeing ideas and stories being built out and sold as NFTs that continue the fandom of your written word. And it's actually quite amazing to see. So you can actually start selling maybe exclusive content. You're going to start seeing covers or special editions, animated versions, character designs, cards, tokens. It's going to be incredible to see the spread that NFTs is going to provide authors.
So I hadn't even thought of, like, in a fiction world, of doing an NFT for each character, or multiple NFTs for each character in the book, or scenes in the book, of places in the book, and like a continuation backstory, maybe even of that character that's not.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. You're going to start to see exclusive content come out. You're going to see like unlockable content, like you purchase a character, or even like if you're a nonfiction author, maybe every once in a while you get this spurt of inspiration that really hooks into that book that you wrote 2 or 3 years ago, and you have this fandom already, and you're like, I'm just going to sell this NFT to maybe a limited edition of like 50 copies, and you get this incredible bonus content that they can read, they can love, they can own, and it's part of your NFT gallery. And it could be priceless because it's so exclusive.
Yeah. And just think you don't have Amazon in the middle of you or any publisher in the middle of you taking any of that content unless you're using, marketers or whatever to promote that along the way.
I imagine that eventually they'll get their hands in there too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my son is big in NFTs and he's been launching quite a few, and I'm seeing how the monetization goes. The person who's doing the coding, the graphic artist, and the marketer, they're all taking a big chunk of the percentage of the launch. So then, you've got to pay that, but then you don't necessarily have it on the back end of the percentage you're going to get every time it resells for that. So It's really huge. Yeah. Okay. So you've opened up my eyes to a whole new market in the fiction part of it.
Yeah, it can be incredible in both parts, any publishing part, really. If you're, just think outside the box, what can you offer, your subscribers, your readers, your fandom that keeps them coming back for more? Sell it as an NFT.
Yeah. I love it. It's like the possibilities are really endless for the whole market of doing that.
Oh yeah. It's incredible to watch. And I mean, in reality, you have your first market and then you have your secondary market, and it can really be lucrative and incredible.
I love it. Thank you so much. You've been really eye-opening for all of this and for cover design. Do you have any other last tips that you'd like to share with us?
I mean, NFTs is a whole nother conversation, but I guess if you guys want to check me out, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. And if you do have questions, just reach out. I mean, I'm an open book, and book cover design, photography, all of it's been in my realm for quite a while.
Do you have anything else you want to add on the NFT market? I would love to go deeper on that if you have anything else that you're thinking of.
I mean, for authors, it's all very new. NFTs are very new, but I say, you know what, get in like now and start understanding the language, start understanding what you can do as exclusive content, and get creative. NFTs are, if you don't have any like understanding whatsoever, it's basically a digital token, or like I like to explain it, you are a business and these are your little stocks. And so as a creator with your influence, you can raise the value of your stocks. And those little NFTs are your stocks. So the higher you go, the higher your stocks go, and the more money you can make. And you sell these in the cryptocurrency world on different coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch. So do your research, see what you can do as unlockable content, whether that's exclusive written content, beautiful graphics that you've created that are related to the books you're writing, photos even of yourself as an influencer. I mean, everything is possible at this point. Be creative. It's build a team if you can't do it yourself, and just have a good time. It's so new and it's so incredible to see.
It's the new frontier, I think, for almost for every industry. So great advice to learn the language, get to know it. And that's why some people are here today, to learn all that. Thank you, Regina. I really appreciate you being here today. Thanks.
If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.